Traces of the supernatural reveal themselves more often than intelligent and reasonable men would prefer them to. Chimeras, worshipped by our ancestors centuries ago, crawl back into the light from ancient times. The directors of our fate rain ash down on us from the grey heavens. They conceal themselves beneath us, above us, and among us, staying hidden until we muster up the resolve to meet their malevolent gaze. Having been discovered, they appear in the flesh for a mere moment, and then they expire horribly, wreaking havoc on the world that they rightfully see as their toy.
Thanks for the hydrate. Time to start a new playthrough of this, I think. Okay. And we can cruise by this time around, I think. Unless we want to watch it, but yeah, I haven't talked about this game very much at all. Yeah, it's but extremely new. Yeah. So we're going to be playing Changeling. Clara had a dream. A foggy morning, having passed a wicket gate, she is now dawdling somewhere, piles of dry leaves rustling in her wake. A familiar voice calls out to her. She lifts her eyes and sees her own twin sister point at an old man convulsing and weeping in unbearable agony. Clara darts for the man to save him with her healing touch, but so does her sister. The girls exchanged confused glances. This is the story of a thief girl who has chosen her own past, ceased to be the instrument of blind fate, and refashioned herself into a free miracle worker. Meaning to force myself to enjoy a Clara playthrough at gunpoint lately. Now I don't have to. No, you can force me to enjoy it at gunpoint, right? Yeah.
Clara wakes up. Could the dream have been prophetic? She has prophetic dreams often. She's no longer surprised by them. She knows that they are sent by the powers that want to warn the herald of what the future holds for her. There were a lot of clues hinting at the veracity of the message. She does indeed know how to treat those in pain with her miraculous hands. She is indeed willing to ease their suffering. She truly strives to do the right thing. She loves her fellow beings. The girl is eager to do good deeds, even if that requires her to go through pain and hardships. Changeling wakes up at the edge of a pit in the ground. Sleep hasn't brought her comfort. Her back and legs ache as though she has walked many miles. Her hands are covered in mud. There are traces of dried blood on her bare knees. It's dark. The dawn is a few hours away.
I always love that narrator every time. He's just got the perfect voice for it. And this is always a funky cutscene to open her campaign with. Play the broken girl option for my entertainment streamer or no hydrate. No, you're holding me hostage. My water bottle. Can't remember if I played History or not. My memories of this game are pretty foggy. I would defend the Clara section with my life. Yeah, I'm hoping to concur with you. I just have bad memories of the second half, but I still enjoy her character and all of her dialogue. I just remember being frustrated with her gameplay. Never played her, High Specs and Bachelor only, just because I haven't had the energy. Would like to try it. Well, hopefully this inspires you to do so. So it begins again. I mean, I got one day till Final Fantasy 16 eats my life. Right, yeah. So, yeah, you might have to put this off for a bit longer yet. Like Clara's section better than Daniel's. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I do have Daniel's really fresh in my mind this time coming into this, instead of having played through Artemis. So it'll be interesting to compare these two directly rather than playing Daniel, Artemis, Clara like I normally do. Playing them out of order in that way might be a bit more interesting. Why would they call me a thief, pray tell? What did I steal? Why does the law detest me so? The only thing I remember is that I am an outlaw and will forever be persecuted. Was I really that good a thief, I wonder? I have nothing of value, just myself and these rags I am wearing. My crime is horrendous. Still, I am beyond redemption. Back in the day, every heart was open before me. Now whatever door I approach is slammed in my face. This is terrifying. Where should I run? With whom shall I seek shelter? Shall I find what I stole and give it back? Who will agree to take it off my hands? Who will answer my questions? If not you. Day 1, in which the Changeling finally finds her sister, thus confirming the prophecy of the twin angels. Pathologic 2 isn't too bad since it induces a very fun kind of adrenaline. 1 is just poison to my ADHD. I like the combat in both as well. I like basically everything about these games. So it's hard to distinguish. Also, I do really like how they specifically made all of the characters actually different heights, so you actually do feel like you're inhabiting a different character. So like Clara is shorter than the masks, and whereas Artemis is taller than them, I think, or at least the same height. How small you are, how frail. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Will you survive in this horrible world? You're talking as if I were a newborn baby. Aren't you? You'll have to be taught to eat, drink, sleep, move around, heal yourself, even to breathe. This place drains your health all too fast. Even a seasoned person must stay alert. Not everyone manages to cope. I don't need your advice. I think I'm familiar with eating. You open your mouth and go nom. Thanks. Yeah, I got that covered. Oi, you're one swift appearer. A sweet child. Such thin, see-through palms you've got. Magnificent. Little hands, so extraordinary, and already blackened and reddened all over, how very evocative. What do you want from me? Before you enter the town and embark on your cleansing agenda, I'd like to give you a few pieces of advice. You are, after all, a mere hatchling. I rather doubt you arrived at the cemetery with your M.O. already laid out, if you pardon the pun. Please, do tell me. Time won't wait for you. Hour after hour, day after day, it will run out fast. You're not the center of the universe, not even now that you have this truly exceptional part to play. At some point, you may even feel that you could easily be everywhere at once, but make no mistake, the town is changing with time, and there's nothing you can do about it. We'll see about that. Time has the final say in matters of life and death. It may so happen that you will knock on the door of a person you need when that person is already past being able to answer you. The news changes too. What was on a person's mind a day ago will have petered out come tomorrow, and it may have been something you'd have found useful. Pray, why speak of such terrible things? It's not like I have a say in matters of anyone's life or death, time or no time. Ha 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 ha! Haven't had a laugh like this in quite a while. If you don't have a say, who does? Who but you, my blessed child, is holding in her hands the lives and deaths of others? But be careful with your terrible gift. Every death will count against you. No amount of trickery is too much. No price is too high for maintaining a valuable reputation. Yes, you will have a reputation too, my dear child. I don't think you'll find that sullen horse easy to tame. It will be full of surprises. Your reputation will be falling, always, relentlessly. And it's decisive in, everything. How many friends you've got, how many enemies. Trust opens the right doors, and the right lips. Why will it always be falling? I'm a good person. But people are convinced to the contrary. You will exist in several guises here. The guise that will live on in the collective mind, and, one may speculate, the collective memory, is a most terrifying one. Every day people will witness signs of your otherworldly nature. They will be frightened. No, I will be remembered for my mercy, and I'll always be spoken of in praise. You'll see. People will always appreciate your help. And I can assure you a lot of people are going to need help these days. Relieving sufferers from their misery is appreciated a great deal. Sometimes a person is in such pain that even euthanasia will be a blessing, especially for the incurable. Do I have a good reputation right now? Right now? Search me, but that's easy to find out. In fact, it's generally a good idea not to neglect checking up on your status. Has my kind-hearted colleague spoken to you about it yet? Yes, of course he has, yes. Most importantly, don't forget to stop by the caretaker's lodge. You've got people awaiting you there, and they have no doubts about your identity. As it happens, they've just drawn proof of your arrival from a pile of oracle bones. Your turning up in person will duly impress them. Tarry not. Careful, don't scratch me with that beak of yours. It is no beak, my dear child. It is a talon. For what I really am is a finger of a hand. You should be that much more careful if it's a talon. So I like how they drew that line specifically at the start of Pathologic 2 as well, didn't they? I believe. I'll catch up on the chat now. Even Grace is like taller than I am. Someone on the subreddit, says Blue Voices, said that anyone who puts classic on their top 10 is nuts, then proceeded to tell me why they hate it, which are all reasons I love the game. Yeah, I suspect we're probably in the same boat in that regard. People I've tried to introduce it to have sort of been like, well, I don't understand why you enjoy that. And I'm like, well, it works for all these reasons, and then I just sort of start ranting probably, which probably doesn't help my case. Do really like 1, just the pace, which gives my enthusiasm. I do think, yeah, Pathologic 2 has a better pacing in terms of what you're expected to sort of juggle at any one time. It's pretty easy. Perfect example of why I had trouble getting through 1. I completely forgot you were reading dialogue because I got too distracted reading all the chat messages. That's fair. Surely you're not going to hurt a poor caretaker's daughter, are you? I may be useful to you yet. If I die, who's going to look after the graves? You don't say so, my dear. Who do you take me for? You've got me mixed up with someone else, right?
It's chilly here.
Katerina's just having a sleep on the side. See, my lady has come to find out what the dead are saying about our fate. And what are they saying? They're saying that they've already vacated 7 of the 9 corners of their house for the guests that are due. All of the house's inhabitants are now crammed into the remaining 2 corners. Can you imagine the harvest that death is about to reap? Oh, scary. I can picture vividly this house with the dead crowded in those corners, expecting the many guests. And my lady doesn't want to believe it. She says the future can be changed. This is her pity talking. It's a good thing she's sleeping, because otherwise she'd be overhearing this. Where did you come from? I thought you were going to stay at grandfather's. You only went there yesterday evening, after all. What are you talking about? Well, there was a girl, the spinning image of you. She came here just before you did. It wasn't dark yet. And then she went to grandfather. That's odd. Impossible, actually. It must have been me. There's no other way.
It is as if my temples were pierced with needles.
It's chilly.
Hang on. She's
Do something.
Very chilly.
one at a time.
I'll let the good scholar examine the deadly powders. We'll put him to the test.
Where'd you come from, girl? Tell me your name. I'm Clara, that's who I am. I saw the lights and thought I may be welcome here. I'm cold. Let it be Clara. I've come to this town looking for my sister. Yes, I'm looking for my sister. Something's telling me she's recently paid you a visit. Yes, that is right. I've been waiting for you, Clara. We have many things to talk about. Ask me and I will answer. No, not in here. Listen, you need to go to my house. Report to my husband, the ruler Alexander. He will take care of you. And I will be there later when Grace and I are finished with our business. If I'm guessing who you are correctly, then we are all saved. Are you in danger? Yes. The bones say we are in danger, the likes of which have not been seen on this earth. Go to our house, Clara. If you are who we have been waiting for, you'll have no trouble getting there, and no one will threaten you on your way. I'll do as you say. That's definitely going in the Pathologic 1 Funny Moments compilation, along with a stretched Gmod Katarina face. Yeah, when I finish all of this, I should go back through and extract all the best bits or something and make like a compilation of all the weird moments, memorable moments from all three campaigns. Don't know if it'd be worthwhile. It'll take me a long time, but it might be a fun project to work on at some stage. Go to Drunkard. Do I start with anything in Clara's one? 2 lockpicks, curtain, some milk, fresh meat, but no water bottles or anything. 2 flowers, 4 hooks, 2 needles. I sort of feel like, yeah, definitely I was buried with sort of sacrificial stuff. Assign Yoveos that homework, delegate. Hey, that's right. This is like the one time where we actually see the dog model in this game. That's not in the bit where Danielle is being eaten. It just randomly like runs through town on your way out of the graveyard. I find that so weird in games when you notice like a model or a texture or something that like is only used in one area, and you sort of wonder like how come it didn't make it into more bits of the game in the first place. Was it like a last minute addition? It's strange. The dog shows up at other points in Clara's route. Oh, it does? Okay. I've obviously completely forgotten that. Was there another combat scenario with dogs? Actually, now that I think about it, I feel like there were dogs like around the pyres, but I might be misremembering that. No, okay. Sore, how sore I am. My throat and my eyes are burning with sand. The ground underneath me is crumbling. Give anything for a drop of water. What on earth could you offer in exchange? Don't come near me. I don't have any water bottles. Sorry to be so rude. I don't have any water specifically. Bachelors, yes. So there are dogs in the bachelors, but like that's the one other instance I could think of where the dog model like actually comes up. But if there are other uses for it during Clara's playthrough, I've evidently forgotten. 90% sure there's a random dog as enemy. Yeah, I do feel like there's just like the dog like appears like once sort of randomly. Okay. Well, now we're just going to have to be on the lookout for every time we see the dog model, right? Just randomly runs around in Clara's route, that's all. Interesting that doesn't happen for Bachelor. And interesting that I don't remember it running around that much for me, but maybe I was just unlucky or not paying much attention. I don't know. Just go scrounging for a bit. So yeah, the main gameplay mechanic that they sort of changed in this, well, there's sort of two differences. Is Clara's melee attack is actually a ranged attack. It's got a little bit of range to it, which means you can backpedal and still hit people. And the other thing is that reputation is constantly ticking down because of Clara's twin or alleged twin that is performing all of these misdeeds to Clara's good deeds. And that's something that we sort of have to constantly fight against, and some days it will be worse. Oh yeah, Seberov apology time, right? Every time we come in here.
Turned into truly a country of contradictions.
You're standing before Alexander Seberov, one of the rulers of this town, whose influence is spreading into the chat. You must be Clara, I suppose. Yes, that's right. Have I done something to make you angry? My wife Katerina said you had been seen at the cemetery. The late caretaker's daughter claims that you had crawled out of a fresh grave, the appearance of which could not be accounted for. Is this true? Yes, I awoke in an earthen pit. It didn't look like a grave, just a pit in the middle of the cemetery. But that's not a crime, is it?
So the Kynes compelled Bachelor to destroy the murder. They must be joking.
Do you know that it's dangerous for you to even go out in the street? Are you aware that the powerful, I think he called them the Kind family actually, the powerful Kind family has put a bounty on your head. An envoy of theirs just left, and I promised them I'd help catch the criminal by all means possible. The criminal? The head of one of the ruling families died last night. His murderer is said to be a woman similar to you in appearance. The description largely matches. The common folk, blinded by local superstitions, are blaming a mystical creature spawned by the earth under mysterious circumstances at night. Is there anything you have to say to that, Clara? It wasn't me. Look into my eyes. Do you believe me? I don't know why, but for some reason, I trust you. Get this strange feeling as though I've known you for a long time. And that makes me suspicious, Clara, pointing as it does to the fact that you control an otherworldly power of some kind. I can't help myself. What if it's the force of truth? The truth speaking for itself? Why, then, are you being called a thief? I do believe larcenous skills are the exclusive domain of the wicked. Who's calling me a thief? That is something you'll have to ask my wife. She, too, possesses mysterious powers. Specifically, she has prophetic dreams. It has been proven over many years that these dreams come true. They have been a main source of knowledge about you. You make me feel empathy. You must be a witch. Yeah, I feel like that's genuine sort of witch trial argument, actually, seeping through right there. How dare you make me feel sorry for you, yeah. She must be pulling on my heartstrings with a magic spell. It's actually the other way around. My hands have the gift of healing. I can cure the most terrible diseases with my hands. I've cured cancer. I even brought someone back from the dead once. Everyone said I'd made a miracle happen. Indeed, you are a miracle worker. Well, thanks for believing me. That makes you almost a saint. Yes, a status like that precludes accusations of murder and theft. But then explain to me the meaning of those coincidences. Not for my blind faith in my wife's words, I would have no doubt that you are an evil spirit, a spawn of the netherworld. And if you don't explain that mystery at once, I swear even Katarina's influence will not save you. Wait! I'll tell you. I have a twin sister. She looks exactly like me, is named the same, and wears the same clothing. I fear that she was the one who committed all those horrible crimes. My brain is really trying to make sure I don't get any info from this playthrough whatsoever. I got distracted by writing my own chat messages again. Haven't paid attention to a single piece of this dialogue. Oh, then you're like, oh, I remember this bit. Alright, have it your way. I accept this explanation, and I believe you. And then I really like this bit. I mean, this is really where it gets interesting. Because the interplay in Clara's playthrough is between these sort of, did she invent, or is the other Clara an invention of herself or the populace? How does Clara sort of form, and where does her existence come from? And this second bit of dialogue here, I've just had to tell a lie for the first time in my life. To invent a fictional sister and shift all those outrageous accusations to her. Strange I could even utter the words, but I promise when it all clears up, I'll explain myself and undo that lie. And I mean, those two options really are different, and I think the second one is a lot more interesting, because it implies that everything that happens is sort of born out of this lie that Clara fabricates to sort of save her own skin on the spot from this guy who's pretty accusatory, considering that she woke up in a ditch and wandered over here first thing. So what are you capable of, Clara? Tell me more about your miraculous abilities. I can cure various diseases using my hands. I know that already, he says, as though that's old news. Anything else? I can induce a hypnotic state in people, provided they consent, of course. Then they will answer any question truthfully. And I'll put together a test, and everyone can see how they do. Enough. I need time to make up my mind. Now go outside, walk around the house, and you'll get to my wife's side. Afterwards, come back to me. If your conversation yields no unpleasant surprises, I shall decide on your future from then on. Alright, I'll do as you say. No problem. Is that the only time the protagonist thinks instead of speaks in a dialogue option? That's a good question. I don't recall it being an option in The Bachelor. Can I get extra credit for writing an essay about Clara? Absolutely, I'd love to read that. The teacher doesn't know I'm writing all of this on my wrist. Just pull your sleeves down and just write off of the carvings.
I need morphine.
Switch to computer and am now not 3 seconds behind everyone else. Yay! Magic. The vision is becoming real. This doubtlessly is one of those two. Yet which one? I must be on my guard. May I come in? I'm cold.
You are a herald. You've been brought here by fate itself.
Come closer, Clara. Do you know that I, Katerina Sabarova, am a clairvoyant? I can commune with the mysterious forces that permeate this land. Magic has no power over me. I can see into the future. Tell me, do you question my abilities? That was just an introduction. You do have something important to tell me, right? Yeah, that's it. Get all this sort of fancy waffle out of the way. The visions, they're not all the same. Some of them are clear. Some are hazy. But a recent one was straightforward and vivid. A vision of such power that even a materialist would not question its divine provenance. I've had a vision of the chaos to come, of the doom of all of our creations, of the earth swallowing our town. I love that. By the way, Blue Voices, that's great. That's bitches will call rats mysterious forces. It's me, I'm bitches. Yeah, I love that. If it's true, it's horrible. There was a prophecy of twin angels. It spoke of a harbinger of death, the imminent disaster incarnate who is to come to the town, along with a holy healer who can perform miracles with her hands and deliver us from evil. Now I understand who is standing before me. Tell me, are you yourself aware of your calling? I thought I was a mere modest servant of virtue. Yes, that is correct. All that remains is to interpret that dream. A dream is always an allegory. Before I saw you, before I heard you speak, I had been thinking of other pairs of twins, Simon and Georgi Kane, Andre and Peter Stomartin. Even those visitors, the Haruspecs and the Bachelor, had seemed to be the harbingers from my dream, but now I see where the truth lies. So you believe me? And Yoveos, to answer your question, yes, absolutely it can, yes. I'm fully convinced that the prophecy was referring to you, but others will need better proof than that. Do as my husband said and prove that you are who I think you are, and we will stand by you. The ruling couple and the holy harbinger. What does that mean? It means that if you stand before our people in all your glory, fulfill your destiny, and don't abandon us afterwards, we will adopt you as our daughter. When I die, I will pass on to you the power of the Spirit, and your heart's chosen one will inherit the power of the sword from my husband. You're too kind to me. That sounded kind of sarcastic actually in my head, reading it back. Now go to Alexander. Be brave, no matter what he asks you. Yes, you use you use the emote. I'm glad it works. I don't think anyone's used it before. That's awesome. It looks good too, yeah. The girl boss gun has been drawn in the chat for the first time. I'm Blue Voice's authority. You have nothing to be afraid of, for I see that you are the true harbinger. Such things can neither be changed nor hidden from me. Time has proven that I do not make mistakes. Fear nothing, and return triumphant. Alright, I'm going. I'm the sheriff of this chat. Just like somehow like sees mod privileges. Just practicing my combat abilities.
What has this town turned into? Truly a country of contradictions.
Indeed, you do look more like a messenger from above than the spawn of the earth. Katerina has told me her dreams. It all fits. She believes I am a messenger from above. All right, my wife is a clairvoyant, but I am not. I need something to make sure you're exactly who you claim to be. I'm going to give you a few tasks. Let your actions prove that your hands have power over people's lives, and your words over their minds. I'm ready. I have nothing to worry about. I received reports of a fight at the station this morning. Several men were killed, several more maimed. I have dispatched 2 loyal men there. They will tell you where the dead and wounded have been carried off. See if anything can be done. But it could be dangerous. If you are truly the prophesied messenger from above, you have nothing to fear. Nothing will harm you. The murderer has fled. The whole town is searching for them. Wherever they are now, that place is far from the station. Go and fear nothing. Hand off the water bottles now. Yes, you use that one too. I'm glad that that works as well. Random note, but Alexander's photo is one of my favorite profile pictures in this game. Yeah, actually, like it's something that's really interesting, right? The profile pictures being like of real people being used to illustrate these characters. In some instances, they work really well. I feel like I discussed this a little bit last time, but I do feel, Sabarov's, I agree, is certainly one of the better ones. It sort of feels like it channels his character in some way. I'm just trying to think if it was a while ago now, I can't remember if we decided if there were any that sort of weren't fit for purpose. There's certainly some that aren't quite as good as others, but I feel like most of them do a pretty good job. I honestly forget about the models half the time in dialogue. I'm reading the dialogue with their face right next to it, so I can see it's a chat bubble or something. Well, that's absolutely, I think that's almost... It feels like a partially intended way to, read it. Because the character models, they have the same emotions that sort of just run through over and over again for a specific line of dialogue, and it's sort of... Your eyes are drawn to the text, which is the thing that is changing more often. But you can get shifting emotions. Obviously, there's a couple of different emotions that the models can have, but it sort of feels like that black and white photo really is fit for purpose in a way that you almost don't need the character model. So you can just go like this, right, and make the face bigger and include some sort of quotes to help contextualize him and what he's saying. It took me until I think Clara's playthrough my first time to run through and figure that out. So you just click on anyone's portrait and it brings up a couple of quotes that other people in town have about them. So Yulia Lyarosheva's take on him: he is a husband worthy of his wife. Whatever power each one of the ruling houses possesses is predicated upon a kind of dependable amalgamation between the preternatural power wielded by the mistress and the magisterial injunctions issued by the head of the family. This is very Yulia. However, Katerina is known to be sterile, which leaves Sabarov with nothing but brute domineering. As soon as the moment is right, Sabarov will attempt to seize absolute administrative power. In so doing, he will compensate himself for the debilitating misery of his spouse. And you can sort of get impressions of the town about a person through this, which was something else that I kind of missed about Pathologic 2. I just like the letters. I just like being able to do I guess what it really is I just like being able to do the extra homework, right? The extra reading, and sort of contextualize myself deeper in the world. But I mean, the Pathologic 2's gameplay does sort of more of the heavy lifting, I suppose, in that regard, but it still would have been nice to have. What if I don't succeed this time? After all, I can't control this power. It's coming from beyond. If not this time, then another time. Heal a man by nightfall for me in the presence of a witness, or preferably witnesses. This will strengthen our position. I will then have legitimate grounds for protecting you against the Kane's wrath. Alright, I'll do everything you say. Wander over to the station then. Did I really not show that off in the Bachelor playthrough? That's it was a feature I was really pleased with when I figured it out or heard about it. I can't remember whether I read about it or whether it was a total accident that I discovered it. Now I'm replaying this game after Final Fantasy 16 just to read all those character notes. Worth it, 100% worth it. 8 coins, I can't buy anything from him. There's always something new in this game, right? Some new angle that you haven't quite taken yet. I do like to think. Yeah, that's 100% accurate. This game is like a warm blanket right out of the dryer. Love it so much. I concur completely. It's sort of my absolute comfort game. Everything about it just works so well together. The colors, I mean, I think I've talked about it so much, but like even just the way the color of the grass and as it's synchronized with these grey, the sort of the grey path and the buildings, it just evokes this really pertinent mood. Like it just oozes out of the screen towards you. Someone needs to do a sociological exam on us all. Yeah, a game that is so melancholic, debilitating, and depressing just gives us the warm and fuzzies. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like, I remember, my first playthrough. Like, this game was just like absolutely so depressing. But I think I really got something out of like beating it at the end. You know, that was sort of like everyone says that this game is like horribly depressing like the whole time. But like this, it's actually like it's a story about like keeping going. You know, it's not a story about giving up. Just about it's a story about the human spirit, right? When it really comes down to it. And I think Stockholm syndrome. The visuals, particularly the colors, make you feel nostalgic. Yeah, I think nostalgic is really the right word to use. It channels this kind of this real timelessness. I think I wrote in one of the descriptions for a soundtrack video at some point that it feels the whole game, or particularly the interiors, actually feel like a hazy sort of like fever dream that you sort of have about like a house that you visited like once before, maybe like an extended family member's house or like a friend's house or something that you visited like once before in childhood, and you're sort of looking back on this sort of feeling really strange, this strange familiarity and this sort of sense of kinship, right? But at the same time, there's also this weird distance, like the feverishness of it all. And that's a feeling that you can't quite sort of replicate. Well, you can't replicate that very easily. And I think part of it does come down to just sort of how tough it is to break through that first wall. I think, like as you said, Blue Voices, that it takes many hours of sort of trial and error and restarts to sort of figure out the rhythm of how the game sort of expects you to keep pace with it and sort of breathe in time with it, essentially. But then when that clicks, I think sort of everything becomes sort of really profound, and the step music in particular is sort of, for me, a way to unlock that. I really love how natural sounding it is, the wind and the occasional drum. The wind itself is sort of this instrument it sort of sounds like. I've always really loved it. Hello. I'm angry and I hurt. Why so? Why? Because first I get chased away into the steppe by my soul-and-a-half mates. Then I run into a ripper there to boot. Boy, was I begging him to let me go. But the bastard knew what I'd been picked on for. Then pulled out his knife, and here I am, carved up like so much fillet. It hurts. Help me, will you? What did they do to you? Well, I suppose I had done what was a mighty rotten thing to do, and mucked it up like an idiot at that. So my former soul-and-a-half mates, they threw me out, called me a traitor and all that, hunted me, but I'm a slick one. I saved myself. Thought I'd made it out. And what do you know? Along comes Leathersack. Leathersack? Some ripper I'd never seen around here before. Remember leaving the house in the bachelor's run and seeing the Tradigian, and I knew right away this game was special. The introduction alone pulled me and promised this game would deliver. Well, I was the same. I mean, like, I had that first conversation with Ava, and then I stepped outside, and then just somehow, like, I was like, this is the game. I think I've said this many times. This was the game I've been waiting my whole life to play, you know. It just sort of seemed the perfect size, first of all. Like, the town was sort of the perfect scope for the area that I actually wanted to play in. Like, it wasn't this huge Skyrim-sized world, but it was realistically simulated, and it felt really tangible. Like, every street sort of had its own different presence, and being forced to sort of map your own way around it was an experience I haven't really had properly in a video game before, where I sort of started to really think of the place as a second home in a way that like not even Oblivion could sort of do that for me. But yeah, there's something really earthy about it. And yes, something I could hold on to, I guess. As well as the game was sort of intelligently written and seemed like it had really interesting mechanics and the visuals were stunning. But yeah, just it all sort of mixed together into this, like, this is it. Like, this is my game, this is the perfect game. And yeah, like, I picked it up for cheap. I sort of didn't think of anything of it when I picked it up at the end of 2017 or whenever it was, and so like, well, this looks interesting, and yeah, it was. It reminds me of Vampire, that perfect balance of realism and just complete oddity that makes it special. It's such a hard balance to meet. Yeah, but it really is that sense of consistency. Like, the world is presented consistently and everyone has their own place in it. That sort of helps you formulate a relationship with it, essentially, like start to understand it. I think it was the fact that the children had not only an equal but perhaps even a deeper political dynamic than the adults. In a world where children are denied any kind of societal power and placed beneath adults, it was intriguing and hopeful to see so much intelligence and philosophical thought behind the way the children organize themselves, even if it was basically Bloods versus Crips kind of situation. Yeah, like, I mean, that's a really important point as well. I struggle to think of any game that even, like, depicts children in the first place, at least like a mature game like this, and then also presents them with like a sense of autonomy rather than just being like part of an escort quest or something that they're being protected from. And you just got to protect them from the big bad monster. Like, a lot of these kids, I mean, they still need some protection. And yeah, like, that's like a really important point. The censorship stuff is really important. I still don't think you can like present the game wholeheartedly, especially with sort of modern graphics, and just like let every player loose and say, you can kill everyone, including the children, because that's a heavy thing to lay on someone as a player, to have that responsibility. But there's still, yeah, the fact that you're denied access to their societies despite being a native of the town only makes their lives and ideas more fascinating. Yeah, it feels like a realistic part of a society is, of course, like, what is it like growing up here? And they did a really good job building that out, because I think a lot of world building stuff kind of ignores that sort of facet and almost assumes that everyone's grown up, or it's only the grown up stuff that matters. And yeah, having the polyhedron, which lets the children take a position of authority and have like some sway, is also really, really important. Plus, I just love the loading screen with the dog head that looks scarily sort of realistic. That was another one of the first moments where I was like, yeah, this looks awesome. Like, just that bit of art on this sort of smeared, like, dirty, bloody background, and just having this kid with a dog's head perfectly on his body. That was one of the moments where I was like, wow, I'm so interested in what's going to happen now. There's such a weird image to sort of greet the player with first, on top of all the other weird images that you sort of have to try and make sense of. Blue Voices is still haunted with the knowledge of the child-sized man in the original version of the game. Yeah, I think we all are. I think it's just a collective thing that we have to bear, disturbing. Very disturbing. Okay. Leather sack. Some ripper I'd never seen round here before, and he's like, "Stop right there, I'ma question you. Are you wanted for such and such crimes? Are you carrying valuables in your person? Etc, etc. And then he goes with that razor. But I wiggled myself free, saved myself again, then wobbled my way to this place, and then... What did you do to cross the boys? Look me in the eye and speak honestly. or else forget about getting help from me. I think it was partly the fact that I could relate to it to some extent, right? I was pretty new to adulthood, says Yoviest, when 2 came out, so I could relate to the feeling of being part of a child's world and a new confusing adult world at the same time. Sounds weird considering the context, but I feel like the Pathologic games helped me in that regard. No, that's really cool. I mean, yeah, like, thanks for sharing that. Like, it's really cool that games can have that effect on us. There's a scholar, Ian Bogost, who sort of writes in one of his about games, and one of his sort of central arguments. At one point, he was sort of putting forward this theory that games are just as socially relevant and important and as educational about sort of social roles as other media is. And I think, yeah, a game like Pathologic 2, which has that sort of coming of age storyline and accepting responsibility, is really integral. And I think I got similar things out of it. I got to say, though, I suppose it was more, the original Pathologic for me, obviously, but 2 still had a really similar effect. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that he said, but he was basically just putting forward a hypothesis that if you accept that these other texts, these other media types can do the same thing, then what we have is a new media type that can actually do the same thing, but perhaps better, was sort of what he was driving at. And if you accept that is true, that we have these games that can teach people social lessons, then the importance of studying them is heightened, right? Like, if that is what we have in our hands, if that's what we're playing with, then we need studies of them, because otherwise we sort of don't know exactly what's going into them, and then sort of what's coming out, like what messaging is being produced and what feelings are being produced. And I hope I'm contributing to that kind of analytical, I guess, quandary, or like how do we even sort of quantify and judge these sort of experiences emotively, I guess, or socially. And it's fascinating as well, me going off on another tangent, because Pathologic inspires that in me, apparently. But the fact that everyone who's speaking in chat right now has played Pathologic, or at least parts of Pathologic, and so can therefore share their experiences while I am playing, and then we sort of have this communal experience, and we all have these different expectations that we're sort of shaping with each other, essentially, and whether that affects, it's obviously different because we've all played it so many times, and I sort of know what the story is going to be, for instance, but whether we can engage with it socially, and whether we can still learn anything from it and draw anything new from it, which we can. I mean, that's what we're doing right now, is drawing these new ideas from it. I hope that makes sense. I do think, we have a responsibility to examine these things and sort of think carefully about what's being presented and why, and sort of how we end up feeling as players. Like, the nostalgic feeling is one thing, but we want to know why we feel that way, or I want to know why I feel that way. Why do I connect to these colors on this almost primal level? Where does it come from? I'm not 100% sure yet, I gotta say, but fascinating, regardless. Okay, sorry to leave you hanging, Doghead. I was just talking to people. You wouldn't understand. Honestly, it was pretty bad. You see, there's those schmouder things, powder schmouters. We had an outbreak a couple of years ago. They called it the sand pest. It would burn up your blood. So these schmouters, they helped if you caught it. There are still some left, but they're hard to come by. And, well, what you said makes complete sense to me. I also really hope you won't put it on the test. No worries. Yeah, I'll do you a favor and leave that off the essay test, right? Yeah. And now there was this rumor about the pest being back Even a couple of folks, sick, coming to it, and one of our lot had a schmouder, was saving it for his sister in case she caught the pest. Basically, I, stole it. What? What for? For yourself? Nah, not for myself. A gang, the Solanahalves, is at war with another gang, the Dogheads. Quite a fight this is, last drop of blood and all. The Dogheads outnumber us, and they've set up their lair at the tower. And the tower is a dream tower of pure gold, if you like. You wouldn't understand. So I thought I'd switch sides, with that schmouder as an admission fee. So you stole medicine. What does it matter? Everyone steals, everyone sells out. It's in our nature. Whoever isn't a thieving man is a thieving woman. Ha ha. The real nasty part is that when my scheme was out, the fool rushed me, tried to take his schmouder back. So I waited for the right moment and offed him. Good grief. Do you at least feel some remorse? Oh yes. I'm all remorse and penny tins. Just do something. Stop the bleeding at least. Tie it with a hanky, would you? See how the bastard has sliced me into ribbons with that razor of his? Just let me get it to him. I'll tie him up and give him twice the pain he gave me. Be quiet and hold still. I'm going to lay my hands on you and you'll get better. Okay, there's another guy around here. What are you doing here, girl? Sickly man. I've come here on Alexander's orders. Same as you, I guess. Yes, I'm a faithful man, a servant of the Sebarovs. There were two of us. We came to see about the dead and wounded, only to discover that robbers were already running rampant around here. They attacked us and most likely killed my assistant. What sort of robbers were they? Warehouse dwellers, by the looks of it. Grief's minions. They plundered the dead and finished off the wounded. They spared no one, although one dying man did manage to hide from them. In the fuss, no one noticed him crawl away towards the cemetery. They crossed the marsh. I suppose they're angry as hell. Is this dog-headed midget also in Alexander's service? Wow. He's not with me. A wounded homeless boy. First I thought he was another survivor, but he's apparently just wandered in. So I'm thinking, maybe he's one of the rogue lot. Where are these robbers? Over there, next to the cars. Be careful, don't come close. They're wicked good knife throwers. Yeah, I think you're underestimating things there. So they stabbed this gutter snipe with a knife? Well, he's carved up a good bit. See how he's clutching his side? So who's been getting playful with a knife? Been a while since anybody got knifed around here. And the other one, the one that crawled away to the cemetery? There wasn't an unbloodied spot on him. This one here was pretty lucky. You could almost say unharmed. Unharmed? Far from it. I'll try and talk to him. Okay, and what does the quest log say? According to one of my faithfuls, a wounded man has slipped away. He should be somewhere near the town cemetery by now. I'm actually going to try... I'll see how many robbers there are by the train cars. Probably going to get killed for this, but... Time to fuck them up. I don't have my girl boss gun, but I got my hands of healing. Hands of aggressively healing. Hi. They really are, yeah. Truly a tense and exciting fight. Yeah, you try that. Just blood like explodes out of their back. Hold the mouse? No. I'd rather mash it and frustrate everybody. Nah, I'll hold it. So I think I was going off instinct from other games. I got muscle memory problems. I'll just keep furiously mashing it every once in a while just to like set everyone off. Stop it! Stop doing that! Okay, so we gotta go to the cemetery, right? I don't think the dog kid can be properly healed. I see. No hydration. It's alright. Had a good long drink during the ad break before. Still fine. Your mind was trying to do Pathologic 1 combat while your hand was trying to place buildings in the original Dune RTS. Yeah, it must have been something like that. There's some forgotten like memory, just like, yeah. You gotta mash it, trust me. You gotta mash it. I got 2 gold rings out of it. I didn't get any money, but you gotta feel the girl boss hands. You gotta become one with the girl boss hands. I think I'm trying to remember. I think the bulls slowly like disappear as the days go by. Like it starts with quite a few cows in here, but ends up with sort of I think none. Sort of about a weekend, if I remember correctly. Yeah, wish I could free them somehow. I expect Lodge could make a real girl boss gun controller like the gun controllers in those hunting games. They should, yeah, it's a missed business opportunity. What are they thinking? Oops. Long as the aim is as reliable as an old arcade game. Same, yeah, Pathologic kart racer first, and then, yeah, Pathologic shooter. Okay, so he should be, is he inside? He's inside the thing. Is he, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he was one of the guys that Artemis stabbed. Or, he's not in here?
This supple-handed runaway.
Pathologic dating sim? Yeah.
A wounded man. He can't be a true warden.
It exists? Someone made one? Wow. Is it good? You're back, what did grandfather say? Tell me, has an injured man come to your lodge lately? How do you know? I know a lot. Are you forgetting who you're talking to? Yes, an injured workman did come crawling here. He was all but dead, so I went to find him a good spot. I almost settled on a grave by the far wall when I thought of burying him in your pit. The one I spent the night in, I mean. When I returned, there was a visitor at the lodge. We need to play this for science, yeah. I could play it on stream, maybe. At the end. Daniil and Sabarov. The real gay boss experience. Interesting. Slightly controversial there, perhaps. Death? No. Leaning over the wounded worker was the scary man who inflicted all those wounds on him in the first place. I asked him not to kill the workman, but to heal him with living blood instead. And he, the scary one, said nothing for a long time. It was just the sound of his wheezy breath. But then he took the workman and dragged him off somewhere. To his den, he said. Who was that scary man? He is of warden stock. He knows the lines of the body. He can heal people and is allowed to cut a body. He said his name was Artemi Burak. But I'm afraid he'll kill the wounded man instead of healing him. The workman was, after all, his enemy. He'd attacked Burak in the morning and injured him. And where is this Burak's den? I don't know, but I think it must be nearby. He was in a bad state himself, so he couldn't have walked too far with a limp body on his hands. Hiding at the works, perhaps, or at the runaway hospice? No, I think of it. His shoes were covered in grey clay, which you only get around the works. I'll try to find him. It's a good thing the map knows exactly where to find him. He's in this building. I guess the presumption is that I played Artemis before I played Clara's. I suppose they're like, yeah, you know where this guy is. Like, not even going to make you run around for it. The one kindness this game grants you, yeah. The dialogue alone is already too much. Yeah, so yeah. See, it's the authentic. You're getting the authentic pathologic experience from this. You're not even playing it. You're still getting the authentic experience. Just confusion and where am I? What's going on? Nothing in this bin. So yeah, I do remember really liking on my first Clara playthrough of actually sort of scary Artemis seemed, which was a great juxtaposition from the previous two playthroughs, where Artemis sort of, in the Bachelor's one, he's kind of this weird, he's kind of a strange, like, distant figure, but also has these friendly qualities and actually wants to help people. But from what I'm remembering in this one, he has kind of, I don't know, he seems a bit colder.
I'm bleeding again.
Aha! Are those your crimes that the entire town is now hunting me for? I mean, how blind does one have to be to mix this up? This voice actor for Artemis? Agreed. It just fits, you know. It fits really well. I'm in the same situation. Persecuted for harm done to these people by, apparently, my sister. Fine sister you've got. More of a menace than any caravan. Few people could hope to cause such a commotion. The worst thing is, we're twins.
Yes.
So what's your business here? Grace, the caretaker at the cemetery, said you brought a wounded man here. I did, and what of it? Did you kill him? No. Have you healed him? As you can see, there's no wounded man here anymore. He vanished while I was away. And that's strange, since he couldn't walk on his own. He must have been kidnapped. By whom? What do you mean, vanished? I brought the wounded man here. Examined him. Look at that facial expression. He was beyond hope. Then I went to get my tools. When I came back, he was gone. That was 10 minutes ago. The trail of blood led back to the town. I saw blood on the embankment too, but that doesn't tell us a lot. Where could he go? Tools mentioned, yeah, but no go onion, so. And why didn't you follow him yourself? It's better for me to stay out of the town. Every passerby rushes to tackle me and tie me up. Wonder what I did to deserve this ripper fame. I'll look for him on the embankment. I may have found shelter at one of the houses. You say you're girl boss, but you do not have girl boss guns. Suspicious. Yeah, Daniel's walking around with that, I'm afraid. Hopefully I managed to take it off him. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, it's true. Time Man's tracks led to this house. Go to see Anna Angel. I feel like on every first day of the game as well, the game is like pretty generous with its map markers, and then it sort of expects that you know what building is what after a few days, and starts sort of letting you figure it out for yourself a bit more. But yeah, on the first day or two of every playthrough, it is cool that they sort of have all of these map markers. I'm glad we're getting our use out of this emote now. Girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight. It's worth every channel point. Excellent. Saving him up just to spam the girl boss gun. I can respect that. Don't know if there's anything I should trade with anyone at the moment. I need to have a sleep, actually, yeah. That's my health. Fine, yeah. So I need to do something about my hunger soon too. The cost of redeeming channel points put me down a whole tax bracket. At least the streamer laughed. Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it. It's Daniil. Interesting how Clara starts with full immunity. That's a good point, actually. I'm not yeah, everyone else starts with 50, right? I presume. He's thriving. Yeah, that is good. I'd never quite internalized that before. Yeah, he's fine. He's having a great time. Look at him. Hi, Daniil. Wow, this blood-covered tramp is not who I'm looking for. He's not complicit in Simon's death. At any rate, he's about to kick it, no matter if I help along or not. I'm done here. No, wait. A lot points to Simon having been murdered by a girl, and there's dirt on her clothes. I suppose I ought to interrogate you. One wonders if you have an alibi. Wait, he's not dead yet, is he? No, but he will be soon. He's lost so much blood that only a miracle could revive him. Miracles, eh? Well, funny you say that. I can work miracles. Curious, how do you go about doing that? I lay my hands on someone in pain and they are brought back to life. Daniil be like, I have no time to cure him. I need to play hide and seek with a child. Yeah, much more important business to deal with. So, not only are half the people here psychics, turns out the other half are faith healers. What kind of a town is this? What kind of a time? I've been transported to the Middle Ages. I presume you can demonstrate your art right here in front of me? I love this. Now I don't feel like it anymore. You're an evil man. I can. Watch. It's healing time. I love it. I love how she like draws her hands. Like, just a really slow, deliberate action. Like she's drawing little finger guns, which I guess she is, but let's see if Anna says anything first. What do you want from me? Are you looking for shelter too? My, you're so pretty. What's your name? Anna Angel. When I was small, it's what they called me for my beautiful singing voice. And what's your name? Clara. I didn't get any nicknames when I was a child because I couldn't sing at all. I love that.
What if there's something scary on my skin?
It would seem that I haven't lived in this house long enough for its walls to protect me. First that wretch bursts in and bleeds on my carpet, then a certain bachelor drops by, and here he is, already acting like he owns the place. And this? Is this your house? In a manner of speaking. To a degree that I feel used to be a good deal higher. God, why is the world filled with predators? Wherever you run, from coast to coast, no place is safe from them. They murder, they rape, they tear apart, they threaten, they destroy. There are good people too. Are there? Look over there. There's kind people for you. The bachelor giving orders like he's entitled to me. What could I tell him? All I can do is stay silent, swallowing my tears. And do you know why this is so, my girl? Listen, the law is not on our side. The law? Shh. Yes, you and I are outlaws. The law is a grindstone. Heavy as a bell. Inexorable and persistent. You need a certain amount of power to stand up to it. But where do you get it? And there are so many of us here that don't really have a choice. We are doomed to be victims. Why are you counting me among them? Daniil is the girl boss, Anna is the gatekeep, Clara is the gaslight. The pathologic trinity, #blessed. Yes, amen to that. You know, I recognized you at once. I did. Aren't you being persecuted? Aren't you being called a thief? Haven't you had the words Shabnak, Turnskin, Man-Eater thrown in your face? Haven't they looked for bones under your skin or dropped swervery juice into your eyes? No, they haven't. Nothing of the sort. Well, until now, of course. Okay. I healed him. Look at that. What a performance. I healed him. Well, look at that. Did you see that? Are you going to tell everyone about that? What a good job I did. So who is this killer? How do I find them? This is getting plain diabolical. Now the question is... yeah, he doesn't even have anything to say about it. I don't think the game was expecting me to do that. Hang on. I can't remember how you actually heal him, though, to be honest. I was just seeing if I could. Your reputation tanked. Yeah, I did just murder someone in front of like 5 witnesses. I don't know why my reputation would tank, but okay. I thought I just had to press E on him, but do I have to have my hands drawn when I do it, or something else? Bloodstones all over the embankment. I just have to lay my hands on them, but how do I... You just do it with... Yeah, like, that's what I thought I had to do. I'm pressing E. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't know how I guess I wasn't close enough. Or something. I don't know what happened then, but it was great. What is that guy doing? Yay. Look, you're alive. I got rid of all the bloodstains on your clothes too. I'm that good. Okay. let's pretend the other thing didn't happen, by the way. How did you manage that? I've had this gift for as long as... Now kill him, yeah. Just to show my power, like I can save and I can destroy. Unbelievable. Many continue to disbelieve, even after seeing it with their own eyes. Are you some kind of saint? I'm a miracle worker. Okay, is that... Yeah, the miracle was a success. Wax on, wax off. Just as easy as that. Nothing in the bin. Guess I'll... What's the time anyway? Only 9:43. A whole day of nothing ahead of me. Whole day of rummaging through the garbage. Your reputation's up to like what, half now? Yeah. It's a bit better than I was doing before.
My chest hurts. Can it be conscience?
All that fun in the economy hasn't even imploded yet. Yeah. Indeed, you do look more like a messenger from above than a spawn of the earth. I have fulfilled your request. I healed a man in the mansion to the south of yours. A menacing-looking scientist in a snakeskin coat oversaw it. He calls himself the Bachelor. And that is excellent. A first-hand account from the visiting Bachelor will carry much more weight with the Canes than anything else. He will probably side with them, seeing as the dearly departed Simon meant so much to him. And so now you have trust in me? I trusted you even before that. Do not be offended by these tests. What I do not do on my own behalf, but on behalf of the people entrusted to my care. I will most likely give you one more task. Just allow me to pause and compose my mind first. I am considering what would be the best approach to the matter. Tell me when you're clear.
Your coming is a sign. You are a link in a whole chain of mysterious coincidences.
So that was my reputation going up again. Here is a new task for you. It is said that someone resembling you has murdered our townsfather, Simon Kane. But now I am sure that the Canes are not telling the whole truth, and that the murder story was invented to conceal something grim they know about, or suspect. But you are a ruler. Why do you speak of the Canes as though they were more powerful than you? The Canes are the family with which everything began here. Their radiant blood has preserved the memory of ancient magic since the time of the epics. They are the descendants of heroes who had fashioned the world out of their own flesh, who had created talking beasts, and stretched chains of fire from sea to sea, and built sky-high towers in a single night. Why are you telling me all of this? The town is now governed by the Saburov-Olgimsky-Kane triumvirate. I fear that, driven by their desire to avenge Simon, the Canes could try to shift the balance of power. Their tyranny would usher in an era of madness. I don't want that to happen. But I need to be sure before I can confront the Canes, and that is where you can help me. A very long way to say that he's a puppet. You will go to the Crucible. Don't mind the chat behind me. Just ignore what they're saying about you, Saburov. You will go to the Crucible. It is in the upper part of town called the Stone Yard. Go to Georgie. Charm him with your hypnotic powers. Find out what's behind Simon's death. It's a dangerous mission, but an important one. If you succeed, I will reward you generously, Clara. Alright, I'll give it a try. Or no, I'm afraid of visiting these people. I can sense how dangerous they are to me. Alright, I'll give it a try. You do, however, need more than just to look into a person's eyes in order to make them speak the truth and answer every question. You need their consent. Yes, that's right. I ask directly if they consent, and their mind approaches mine only if they say yes. Also, I must know the person's real name and a secret fact from their life. What for? That's how I unlock a soul. Well then, go to Katerina. She will tell you about Georgie. You're not, indeed, as simple as you seem. It is strange that you have revealed your secret to me. That's not very nice. Have you not been tempted to use your skills on me? Why would I? You're helping me, so I have nothing to hide from you. Oh, hydrate, thanks. Good to go for about another 20 minutes or so. And I have to be off again.
What?
I feel that you were sent to us by destiny itself. Alexander has tasked me with finding out the truth about Simon's death from Georgie. It makes me feel uneasy. More of a Clara apologist than a Severov apologist. Nice. Why would he give you so difficult a task, my child? He is well aware that the Kanes, blinded by fury, are looking for the mysterious man-eater who supposedly murdered Simon. In their anger, they are missing the obvious. But such is that family's way. Even our protection may be of no use. The truth will speak for itself. They won't dare hurt me, I suppose. Perhaps, but Georgie will never speak to you, will he? Would he wield such power over people as to be able to make him talk? No, I have no such power, but cunning will become the solution where power can't. If you help me, I can make him answer questions. And how will you find out the truth? How will you make him reveal it? I would call a person by their real name twice and say the words, such and such, I know of you this. Will you agree to touch me, to brave the depths, to answer my questions candidly and without prejudice? If the answer is yes, then it's done. Clara didn't kill that guy, it was the other Clara. I will die on this hill, and even then I won't get off. You just die, and all of a sudden your corpse just becomes like just immovable. Why, I know of you this. It feels a part of the phrase is omitted. It is. You really have to know a secret about the person. Which it would stun them to hear, but the secret must be true, of course. For example, you can say, Anna, oh Anna, I know of you this. You've kidnapped a child. What is that supposed to mean? Why did you say that? That's just an example. Silly example I just made up. Do you know any secrets concerning Georgie Kane? Then HGA tries to heal you and kills you instead. Yeah, that seems to be the way this is going so far. Yes, I will teach you. First of all, call him Judge. Do not call him Georgie at first. The Kanes are clever, and he may immediately become suspicious. If you want to stun him with a secret, try to say, you never loved Simon, and you are no twin of his. He'll be taken aback. Thank you. Thank you. But it is not of Georgie that you should be wary. I feel that the Kane's plot was conceived in a different mind. It all comes from Maria, who is about to challenge my position of a mistress. But do not even think of approaching her yet. She's very dangerous. Your formula will not work on someone who has a mistress's abilities. Alright, I'll follow your advice. Let's go. Bad advice, 0 out of 10. So you want me to pass a note to Katharina as well? Blue Voice has got some things to say about your judgment. You call yourself a mistress? A mystic? I don't think so. You don't know the first thing about it. Comes a point in Clara's route with several apologies and becomes very hard to justify. Yes, it does. Didn't think it would start this early. Yeah, they're not really selling themselves very well so far, considering they're meant to be Clara's prime allies at this point. What about you? Do you anything to trade? Hi there. Do you know how to play Reflections? You don't seem like an ordinary girl. Wonder what you'd look like coming out on the other side. Did you catch the unseen cat? I invited the bachelor to have a look at the unseen cat, but I know he won't come. He doesn't seem to understand us at all. Is it true that he's very smart? Intelligence is relative. Often the voice of reason tangles the ways of fate, whereas the heart always leads you down the right path. Hey, don't leave. Hang on. Trade. I'm sure I have something you might like. Bullets. One bullet. Because I need to load that girl boss gun sometime. This music never gets old either. It's remarkable. This was, the most memorable track from my first playthrough of the game. I just listened to it over and over and over again. Because I think it sort of encapsulated the mood of the game for me. Just totally, it sort of seemed to be everything that the game was telling me was placed into this music. Sounds slightly too profound, probably, but okay. What about you? Do you got anything to trade? Just saying if anyone's got anything interesting. Rifle bullets, no thanks. I have my hands of healing. Don't need any gun except my little Derringer girl boss gun. Okay, how's this fellow doing? If everyone's run away, how about we barter? You have nothing. Why even accept my offer to barter if you're just gonna like open your pockets and be like, so what do you want to trade? And you have nothing. Something about, yeah, the way the leaves drift through the air as well. Very calming, despite everything, which I guess is why it feels so horrible when that relative peace is sort of broken at any point. But everything feels very serene and still on the first day. Walkable cities, yeah. Yeah, if only I lived in the town, yeah. The song is my jam. Yeah, a lot of it's also one I'm extremely fond of. I think a lot of people come back to this one in particular, right? I know I certainly do. It seems to be one of the most popular ones on my channel. I think second only to the bar theme. I think off the top of my head. But there might be a couple sort of around the same mark, but it's definitely one of the most popular. It's just a great evocative piece of music, especially because it's likely going to be one of the first bits of music you hear in the game. If you start as the bachelor, you sort of step out the door and this is what you hear. Either that or the night theme. I actually can't remember whether it's the day or night theme that plays, but an Utroba theme anyway. With the rain, it's amazing. Yes, it is. Yeah. Have I uploaded a ambience video of this district in rain during the day? I can't remember if I have or not. At night. Yeah, cool. I can just try to see what the bar theme is like on piano. It might make practice more fun. That would be cool, actually. I feel like that'd be a really fun thing to like challenge yourself to play. Hey there.
Tell me what you
Love your purple robes.
tell you who you are.
Yeah, you've just created an audience for yourself there, Yavias. I think, you're gonna have to start producing some stuff. What's this now? Here's an unexpected visitor indeed. I can't believe what I'm seeing. My name is Clara. I just wanted to... You do look like a human being on the outside. I'd like to help, if my help is needed here, of course. I can work miracles. That's not uncommon around here. And do you know that a person greatly resembling you in appearance is wanted for murder committed by supernatural means? I do, but don't be in a hurry to call the guards. I'm not guilty, and there's proof of that.
Hopeful. That will call witness bluff. The murderer claims to be Burak's son.
I must say, if it were up to me, I'd have had you executed without further ado. You owe your life to the bachelor, in a way, for he told us that, although there is little doubt left that you're a changeling spawned by the steppe, the shape you assumed when you visited upon him was unexpectedly uncharacteristic of any demon he knows of. What are you talking about? You laid your hands on a mortally wounded man and brought him back to life. Well, calling on the holy powers to bear witness, your demeanour was, so they say, like that of a miracle worker, or even a saint of sorts. Is this so? I only bring goodness into this world, such is my nature. All the same, I don't believe you. Besides, you claim to have an evil twin, so which of you two is the real one and which is the changeling? I've done the honest thing and come before you, so you can see for yourself. Why have you come to me, fearsome child, posing as a miracle worker? I wanted to ask you about Simon, the late ruler. Is that so? Very well, I will lend you my ear, but no sooner than you have met Maria, my niece. Let her look at you with her own eyes and tell me who you are, and how I should treat anything you tell me. I won't go. Shaking in your boots, are you now, you witch? The mere sound of Maria's name is enough to send you running. Hardly a surprise. Guards? Hey, anybody there? Wait, I'm not afraid of her. I'll go. I like how he calls for his guards, but like, there's no one else on the property except Maria and Victor. Like, this They don't even put like the butlers outside or anything. They just guards. Just sort of, he'd be waiting a while. That's all I'm saying. We're going to see Maria, who is also pretty scary in Clara's route, if I remember correctly. Nice to the Bachelor, not so nice at all to Clara.
Oh, Mother. Why can't you be here with us?
He calls the guards and then tries to materialize them through sheer force of will. He's like, come on, this worked once when I was really drunk, come on. The one drunk enters and gives a speech on how Mother Nature is so cruel. Yeah, that is also a distinct possibility. I like both of those ideas. Just to visualize here, Georgie, like just like standing there, like after he's yelled guards, and there's just like several minutes of just profound silence as the two of them just like stare at each other really awkwardly. Or the fact that, yeah, he summons some random off the street who just like starts ranting and raving. Your face looks familiar. We've never met before. I know who you are. I just can't quite get a grasp of your essence. Where people have a soul, you have a black pit. What name have you chosen for yourself? Why are you saying such hurtful things? What have I ever done to you?
It came from below the ground. For many years, we were burying the bones wrong.
What is it? Georgie advised me to seek your counsel, Maria, on whether I'm worthy of asking him questions. Why should I? I have no idea. I'm just trying to do as the proverbial Romans do, excuse me. This is a Rome that one doesn't come uninvited to in the first place. What did Georgie ask you about? He said you should have a look at me. Ha 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 ha. How touching. Since when has this place become a hospital reception room? An elderly doctor's sending a patient for examination. Shall I write you a prescription? I guess there's no need. Just say the words, I'll let him know. I suppose I was too quick to laugh at you. Let me see. You seem as though you were two people. You are a walking lie, but you shouldn't be killed yet. Everything depends on how this day ends. Whoa, see a head twitch? Have them tell Uncle to talk to you. Let them answer your questions. Transforming into a Silent Hill monster there for a split second. Goodbye, Maria. Let's go back and talk to Georgie. And then after this conversation, I imagine I'll save and exit for the day. And yes, it's been a good stream, I think. Nice to get back into Pathologic after a bit of an absence from it. The ugly fireplace. Who doesn't love the ugly fireplace? Hello.
Tell me what you want, and I will tell you who you are.
His fingers are definitely pressed against his temples, desperately trying to summon a guardsman. As Clara like walks back in through the door, he's like muttering to himself, like, "Oh, Maria didn't stall there for long enough. I almost had him. I almost had the guardsman." So, my dear guest, Tradigian runs in with arms waving. Yes, 100%. Maria wishes to say that Maria has already said all that she wished to say. Don't be surprised. You wanted to ask me something, did you not? Feel free to ask. Judge, you have no love for Simon and were no brother to him. Will you agree to answer my questions? Georgie, oh Georgie, I know of you this. You didn't like Simon and you were no twin of his. Will you agree to touch me to brave the depths? Let's forget which... I mean, Katharina advised to say judge. But, you know, like, how much can we trust Katharina's advice? We'll go with yeah. I love this. What is this gobbledygook? Are you playing tricks on me? Get out of here. Wait a moment. Who do you think you are? Did they send you to me, you wretch, in order to distract my attention from the real man-eater? Get lost, and never enter this house again, or face my true anger. I will be back, Judge. I remember getting that dialogue in the first playthrough, and I enjoyed it far too much. Just what is this gobbledygook? Like, Clara tries to speak the magic spell, and just, like, has no success whatsoever. Just, yeah, like, it's the equivalent of Georgie, like, standing there, like, come on, guardsman. This is Clara, like, just repeating some magic spell she heard from her mum or something. Like, yeah, this'll work. This'll get him. I'll show him what for. I think it was too satisfying to pass up the opportunity not to do that. Even though I know the other one was the more correct answer. But Clara ended up being more embarrassing than the guy trying to make summoning a real thing. She tried, right? She tried. She gave it her best shot. Okay, I'll search these bins and then I'll head off, I think. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for indulging yet another playthrough of Pathologic, and I hope everyone's interested in Sniper Killer. I hope, I plan to pick that up when it comes out, because it seemed really interesting, and they were really going places with the story. So hopefully we can get some cool stuff out of it, and then I'll just keep playing Pathologic next time, I imagine, or stay out of the house. So yeah, thanks everyone. Extremely entertaining stream as usual. Really appreciate everyone in the chat. Just really appreciate all the support. It's great to have people streaming with me. Another Girl Boss Gun hype, yeah. And yeah, great stream. Had a nice time not paying attention to any NPC dialogue whatsoever. Next time, yeah, you'll be like, wait, who are we playing as again? Where are we? Yeah. Test next week, yeah. But no, special thanks to Frank Alonzi's Future Cityscape Blue Voices for being patrons. It's still crazy to me, but yeah, wonderful at the same time. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see if I can stream again in a couple of days' time, but if I can't, I'll be streaming again next week. So until then, this test, it does, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. That's great. That means a lot. Great to have you here. You're all lovely people, so I really appreciate it. See ya. Stay safe all.